Quality Assurance Council, Umalusi, is celebrating 20 years since its inception. Umalusi has over the years worked closely with strategic partners such as universities, research institutions, and educational assessment associations, both nationally and internationally, to strengthen its quality assurance approaches. Joining us to reflect on the key milestone of Umalusi is Dr. Mafu Rakometsi, who is the CEO of Umalusi. Thank you so much for joining us, Dr. Rakometsi. Umalusi has celebrated 20 years, or is celebrating 20 years this year. You've come a very long way. There are a lot of milestones that you have achieved, from 7 employees 20 years ago to 140 now. Can you just take us through some of the highlights of Umalusi over the years?
Umalusi as an organization has grown from strength to strength, and it continues to be a respected quality assurance body in the country, quality assuring qualifications in the general and further education and training qualification staff framework. Over the years, each year, we produce about 1 million certificates in the qualifications, National Senior Certificate, which is commonly known as metric, in the qualifications known as National Vocational Qualification. Now, if you add all those together, the total of 1 million per year would mean that on average, over the past 20 years, when you add the totals together, we have changed the lives of many people. We have introduced new qualifications in the system, like the National Senior Certificate, whose predecessor was the Senior Certificate. Now we've got the National Senior Certificate. We have introduced a new qualification called National Vocational Certificate. All those qualifications, we look at them, not only them, but even the curriculum that underpins them. We have introduced Braille on certificates for children who can't see. That is a big milestone. We have also introduced sign language. This organization is continuing to grow from strength to strength as a trusted authority in quality assurance.
You make mention of the issuing of 1 million certificates, but we do know that at some point there was a backlog with regards to issuing of certificates. What was the process in you eradicating that backlog? Because we do know that you've made quite significant progress in that regard.
When we talk about the certification value chain, Umalusi comes right at the end. We receive data from the different assessment bodies. In the case to which you are referring, we've got the Department of Higher Education and Training that was experiencing some problems. They were experiencing problems with the State Information Technology Agency in the processing of the data. Now, Umalusi would always try to authenticate all the data it receives. The data must be authentic and must be stable. It can't be that a student gets 50% when we result them. Another point of certification, that 50% is now 70%. That shows instability in the data. We refused to issue certificates where there was evidence of unstable data. Now, the Department of Higher Education and Training, together with State Information Technology Agency, have since resolved the problem. And in quality assuring the data, as Umalusi, we're then able to say, yes, we can now issue certificates because the data was reliable and stable.
What would you say were some of the lessons learned during the challenges that Umalusi could have experienced during the COVID-19 pandemic?
The challenges that we experienced during the COVID-19 experience and challenge is that we're not able to do our work normally. We're not able to monitor the examinations throughout the country. Some of our external moderators died. Some of our external moderators got sick. What then happened is that we had to go back to the drawing board and develop new strategies for approaching the external moderation of marking, and also with the standardization meetings that are normally held in Pretoria. We could no more converge at one place because of the COVID-19 restrictions, we're able to develop an online standardization system which worked well in 2020 and 2021. So COVID-19, as we said at that time, was a game changer, and we're able to adapt and still issue certificates that were reliable in the midst of the challenges that we're facing with COVID-19 restrictions.
Now, 2018, on the other hand, saw a spike in fake matric certificate websites. How were you able to go over that hurdle, especially when it comes to the issuing of fake matric certificates?
The issuing of fake matric certificates, Umalusi certificates, is an issue that continues to plague the system. Umalusi does not have the capacity to enforce the law. Where that happens, we report the matter to the South African Police Service. And I need to emphasize also that people who try to issue fraudulent certificates, they will not be able to match the security features that we have on our certificates. For instance, if you look at our certificates against light, you will see an imprint of the South African coat of arms. The fake ones will not have that. And when you look at the margins of the certificates, you will see with a magnifying glass, you will see RSA written repeatedly. The fake certificates don't have that. So at face value, you are able to differentiate between an authentic certificate and a fake one. So people who go to the employers with fake certificates will be easily caught out. And also, we've got a verification service at Umalusi. If an employer wants to employ an individual, and that individual produces a certificate, they are able to contact us to verify the authenticity of that certificate.
Lastly, Dr. Rakometsi, what would you, or rather think, the next 20 years or the next journey for Umalusi entails when it comes to offering good quality standard certification?